Hello YouTube and welcome back to PIDA week number 4 Kanto weekly show. Now, this is going up slightly later than originally planned because obviously it's been over a week since the last one, but if you did miss out on that one, I'd highly recommend you go check that out because forfeits and stuff happened, there were extensions, and I've been busy, so all of those have come together, but now is the time. We're back, and we start off with a forfeit because the first game of the week is the Sugar Puff City Swirlixes versus the New Haven Nuts. Now, I think the situation was that Sugar Puff City Swirlixes were busy for week number 4, week number 5, and week number 6, and he wanted to get his battles done like all in week 4 time slot or week 5 time slot. I can't remember what it was, something like that. But New Haven Nut couldn't do it and didn't want the extension, so got Sugar Puff City Swirlixes got a 3-0 forfeit victory. So yeah, that's game 1 out of the way. Bish bash bosh. Game number 2. Now we're just getting straight in for this because all the videos have been over an hour, and well, I want to try and keep them shorter, but I don't know if you like shorter videos, longer videos, whatever. Let me know down in the comment section down below of what you want. Obviously, changes to the series in like length, what I talk about, and all that stuff. Just let me know down in the comment section down below. But game number 2, we have the Black Sea Curums, coached by Zombie, versus the Hungry Big Boys, coached by Bidoof. Now, Black Sea Curums are currently unbeaten in the league so far, and the Hungry Big Boys are obviously theme team, mono electric plus cloister, and are near the bottom end of the table because obviously it's a theme team. So theme teams usually end up near the bottom unless they're like, I don't know what I'm saying, but the Black Sea Curums are rocking Steelix, Salazzle, Clefable, Curum Black, Gliscor, and Comfey, whereas the Hungry Big Boys are rocking Thunderous, Zapdos, Zeraora, Zapdos, Magnezone, Cloyster, Zeraora, and Galvantula. Now, Zombie has clearly brought both his ground types because he's mono electric / steel plus Cloyster, but he hasn't brought any steel types besides the Magnezone to any game. So 1 week he's gonna like switch it up and go mono steel, and everyone will go, "Oh my god!" But it's fine. I think he's brought the same team every week, switching out the electric types. Cloyster's been there every week besides week number 1, I do believe. So if Cloyster can deal with the Steelix and the Gliscor, I think the electric types can put in the work against his team. So let's kick this game off and see what pans out, shall we? So Magnezone lead versus the Salazzle. Salazzle goes for the straight up substitute, as the Magnezone goes for Wild Charge. Now, did not expect Wild Charge, not in the slightest, because Magnezone is primarily a special attacker, but Wild Charge is just, you know, it's I don't even know. So it does no real call because of the sub damage leftovers from both Flamethrower. Magnezone lives on 7%, and then Wild Charge just goes boop, does nothing to the Salazzle. Now, you know Salazzle is, I've got Salazzle in UCC, plug, and it's not the bulkiest of boys. So a stab Wild Charge from Magnezone clearly says that physical Magnezone is not no, it just isn't a thing. So yeah, physical's not a great idea. It may be for the memes, but in proper battles it's not a good idea. No, physical Magnezone, no. But anyway, Salazzle recovers its leftovers. Out comes the Cloyster, goes for the Shell Smash, and it's a good bring by Zombie here. Goes for Dragon Tail, so gets rid of that Cloyster straight out of the back with that Shell Smash, Dragon Tail. So let me write down these notes for Salazzle text for UCC. Dragon Tail, sorted. So drags out the Thunderous, Black Sludge recovery, as Bidoof switches straight out into his Zapdos, goes for the Flamethrower. Obviously a bulky Zapdos because obviously Flamethrower does nothing. Salazzle's got a good decent amount of special attack, so it must be especially bulky Goes for that Toxic to Toxic stall the Zapdos. And then Zapdos comes in and Thunderbolts, and goodbye the Salazzle. So now it's 5-5 on both sides of this field. Zapdos gets some recovery damage, down goes a Toxic. Out comes Treble Clef. Thunderbolt does nothing because it's obviously a Treble Clef. Wish support, so going for the possibly Toxic Stall here with the Wish. Gets Wish left over to recovery. As Bidoof switches out to Galvantula, out comes the Comfey. Volt switches out against the Comfey, out into the Zapdos again, as the Comfey goes for the Calm Mind. So Comfey, Calm Mind can be a problem. So obviously Calm Mind's there. Goes to the +2, as the Zapdos goes for the Toxic. So they're both on Toxic timers. One's on +2/+2. Zapdos is a bulky boy, as you can see by that Draining Kiss, which does nothing to Zapdos, but it is priority because it's recovery move. So that's good by Comfey's part. Thunderbolt does nothing. It does 16%. +3 Comfey. If it wasn't on this Toxic timer, it could have swept it. I think it could have swept if it wasn't on Toxic timer. So Roost, recover, Synthesis, recover, Draining Kiss, recovery, damage. Thunderbolt does 12%, does nothing. Toxic, Draining Kiss, down goes Zapdos. That's a kill for the Comfey. Toxic damage again. Out comes the Galvantula. Draining Kiss, brings down to 30%. Goes for the Sticky Webs for late game, because obviously a Cloyster or Thundurus or Zorora can sweep if predicting Scarf Q and Black. That's it. Clefable, outspeed Clefable anyway. Steelix is slow as anything. Gliscor is not affected by it. So the only reason he'd put Webs down is for Scarf Q and Black, or just Q and Black in general. So unless Q, I wouldn't have gone for Webs. I would have gone for damage if I was me, because most of his team aren't affected by Webs because they're either slow or immune to it. So that's just me. Gets a crit with a Draining Kiss, and Comfey picks up 2 kills now. Out comes the Zorora. Draining Kiss does not a lot. Retains all that health back. Goes for Thunderbolt. Now, if this was a physical Zorora, it would have done some work, because I don't know what Comfey's defense is like, but it would have done a lot more than +3 special defense on his Comfey. So if Zorora was physical and Magzone was special, maybe things would have been different, but I don't know. So Toxic damage, obviously. Draining Kiss finishes off the Zorora, and then Toxic damage takes out the Comfey. Out comes the Cloyster, out comes the Steelix, and Shell Smash from the Cloyster gets Shell Smash damage up. Goes for the Rock Slide, gets a crit and lives and does 61%. Liquidation, lives just about, and gets a revenge kill with the Earthquake. So looking at downhill battle for Bidoof now, because he's just got a Thundurus left, and there's 2 ground types just staring him in the face. So Thundurus goes for the Nasty Plot. Get that Rock Slide. Rock Slide does 43%, and Bidoof makes a risky play here and goes for another Nasty Plot, and gets the +4 against this Steelix, because the Steelix won't do enough damage. But if I was Bidoof, I would have just gone for +1 and just killed the Steelix, because would have had nice HP, because Gliscor can be bulky, Clefable can be bulky, Q and Black can be bulky, so it may not have. There's 2 sides to it. Obviously, Clef can be unaware, so +4 special attack doesn't mean anything to that thing. So I would have gone to +1 and just spammed Thunderbolt or HP Ice or whatever, Grass Knot or whatever moves this Thundurus has. Focus Miss. I don't know what moves this thing has, but yeah, that is a thing the Thundurus can do. There's the Grass Knot. Down goes the Steelix. Out comes the Clefable. Goes for the Protect, as the Thundurus goes for the Z Bloom Doom against this Clefable, which does absolutely nothing. 13%. Thunderbolt does 45%. Now, this is interesting, because this Clefable has Wish and Moonlight. So it has dual recovery, 1 to primarily heal the Clefable, 1 to Wish support the rest of the team, which is a very interesting tech. I wouldn't have seen that coming. Not in this live, double recovery on the Clefable, but hey ho, does put in the work. Stalls out, because the Thunderbolt goes down 48%. Gets the paralysis, which is very key, because Clefable could just stall this thing out until crits happens with Moonlight. But the para does come through, so Thunderous goes around and picks up another kill. Then out comes the Life Score, hits HP Ice. Yachi Berry doesn't matter because it's +4, so nothing happens. Out comes the Q in Black, and Thunderbolt resisted to 75%, and Ice Beam killed. Now, so we had Grass Knot, Thunderbolt, and HP Ice. What was HP Ice? I mean, what was Grass Knot for on his team? I don't. Would it have been better to have Focus Miss over Grass Knot to hit the Q in Black? Because Focus Miss would have killed this thing, hands down, every single time. And it would have hit the Steelix as well. So, unless Incarnate doesn't get Focus Miss, but just Furion does, which I don't think it does, but if it had Focus Miss, it may have won the game over Grass Knot. Because the Z Grass Knot did nothing, and the Focus Miss would have killed the Steelix anyway. So, yeah, that's a GG to Zombie. He's now 4-0 so far in the league. And Bidoof, I think, is 1-3 to my recollection. So, Zombie is still rogging away, picking up these W's in, I think he's top spot, or he's top 2 anyway. Ooh, that's a spoiler. But he's definitely in the top. He's unbeaten, so he's up to the top. Securely in the playoffs for now, to come away with the W and win Kanto for season number 1. Now, we move on to game number 3, which is the Calgary V-Create versus the Sydney Shamans. And as of recording this, Calgary V-Creates and Hacker had to sadly drop out of the league due to personal reasons and time and whatnot. Couldn't do real life and PIDA at the same time. But he did say he may be back for Season 2, but he probably will be in the lower divisions unless there's openings, because the replacement, which will be announced in the next weekly show, that's a plug to next week. So, unless you're in the PIDA server, you don't know who this guy is, but you should do. So, Calgary V creates Hacker's last game in PIDA. He's rocking Jirachi, Tapu Koko, Tangrowth, Toxapex, Hawlucha, and Alola Ninetales. Whereas the Sydney Shamans are rocking Slurpuff, Jolteon, Tapu Lele, Mega Pidgeot, Zygarde, and Miltank. Now, obviously there's very Wally boys, double regenerator in Toxapex and Tangrowth on the Hacker side of the field, which is double regenerator, Tangrowth, Toxapex is disgusting. It's got Aurora Veil, Ninetales, so that's even more disgusting. It's got Electrics, it's got Coco Lucha, also disgusting, and he's got Jirachi, which could be Wish Support, it could be Scarf Ironhead, that's disgusting at the slightest. Whereas, on the other side of the screen, you've got a Zygarde who can minus the... Zygarde doesn't have a really great matchup, because it's got Tapu Koko, which is weak to Dazzling Gleam, Ninetales, which is weak to Ice and Fairy, and Dragon is resisted by the Jirachi, and Ground is resisted by the Tangrowth, so not the best matchup. Miltank, obviously, doesn't appreciate Hawlucha. Mega Pidgeot can put in the work if Ninetales and Coco are down. Tapu Lele is a Tapu Lele, it's scary, mother trucker. Can put in the work, could just spam Psychic and then Shadow Ball for the Jirachi. Jolteon, Toxapex killer, Hawlucha killer, boosted in electric terrain, can be damaged. And obviously, Belly Drum Slurpuff is in fact a definite problem. So, jump into this game and lead with Skeff's Burb versus Ninetales. Turn 1, goes for the U-turn to switch out as Ninetales goes for the Aurora Veil. As he gets the Psychic Surge up on the field, there goes the Aurora Veil. So now he's got a Jirachi behind the screen, and the Psychic does absolutely nothing to this Jirachi. Hail damage coming in clutch. Out comes the Tapu Koko, Tapu v Tapu. And out comes the Zygarde against the Tapu Koko. And Hidden Power Ice, I do believe. It must be HP Ice. Because, it's got to be HP Ice. It's got to be HP Ice. So that does nothing. So if it's a not very invested Tapu Koko, or it's a very bulky Zygarde, because for it to do 49%. 1,000 Arrows does 54%, even behind Aurora, which is absolutely amazing. So crashes down, as you do. Out comes the Jolteon, goes for the Roost. Predicting the electric type move, goes for Roost. Hail stops, electric terrain's here. Out comes the Tangrowth. Now, Jolteon goes for Agility, which is obviously a bat and pass set because most evolutions in PIDA are bat and pass, like Espeon, because they get Z Celebrate. Most, if you've got an evolution, predict bat and pass on the Mon, unless it's a Sylveon, because they'll just, Hyper Voice for days. But most of the other Mons will just be bat and pass set, as you can tell by this Jolteon, who bat and pass the +2 speed out into his Mega Pidgeot. As the Tangrowth goes for the Leech Seed, Mega Pidgeot goes for U-turn, I do believe. Yep, because it doesn't want to stay in seeded versus the Toxapex. Out comes the Tapu Lele, who can just spam the Psychic button. Baneful Bunker. My goodness, Psychic there. And out comes Jirachi, who just eats Psychics for days. Even in Psychic terrain, just eats Psychics for days. So, predicting the Iron Head goes down to this, but Jirachi's a wish, because Jirachi is always wishing. Because it's the wish Pokemon. I think it's the first Pokemon that gets wish, but I'm not sure about that. But it just goes for the Iron Head. Does nothing to Mega Pidgeot because it's neutral. Toxapex comes out because that can just wall everything. Gets the Heat Wave. Gets the burn on the Heat Wave, which is absolutely clutch. Even though it's on the Toxapex, it doesn't really mean anything. It just can't get the recovery damage from its Black Sludge. So Tapu V Tapu is back. Lots of switching in this game. Out to Jirachi. Out to Jolteon. Out to Tangrowth. As the Jolteon goes for Substitute. Substitute Agility. And then, obviously, Giga Drain breaks the sub. Goes for the sub again. As Hacker goes for the Leech Seed, which fails. So, good play by Deshaven's there. Who then goes for a bat and pass. And this is like +2 sub. Can be a problem if he goes into like pretty much most of his team. So he goes out into his Zygarde versus the Tangrowth. Now, I personally would have went out into probably Lele or Slurpuff, because if I was behind a sub, I could get a Belly Drum off. +2 Belly Drum, Unburden. Wrecking Lives. Mine's Toxapex. That's fantastic. And obviously, Tapu Lele as well can just spam Psychic, and I'll be just absolutely fantastic. So Giga Drain breaks the sub as the Tangrowth goes for Protect. Sludge Wave on the Zygarde. Now, I didn't even know for the life of me that Zygarde got Sludge Wave. So you learn something new every day. So obviously predicting the Sludge Wave goes into this thing. Dragon Tail as well. So it's a mixed Zygarde with Sludge Wave and Dragon Tail. Sludge Wave is obviously there for the obviously the Tangrowth, because it's a bulky boy. And Sludge Wave obviously has some Sludge Wave investment, so it can actually OHKO. Probably the Tangrowth will probably 2KO, I don't know. But out comes the Tangrowth, predicting that 1,000 Arrows, which it does happen, which does 10%, which does absolutely nothing. Protects to the Sludge Wave, and it goes out into Jirachi, predicting the Sludge Wave, which he predicts correctly. Sludge Wave there, goes for 1,000 Arrows. Shucker Berry from the Jirachi does that, and then he misses the Icy Wind, which would have killed this Zygarde to smithereens. So, very crucial miss there by the Calgary V creator there. May have changed the game up if this thing was dead, but Taka predicts him very well by switching out, predicting the Sludge Waves, the the 1,000 Arrows. So protects, work out what move he wants to go for, and then he switches out playing the mind games. Stays in because he thinks he's going to go into thingy. Gets the burn on the skull, so this Toxapex has just burnt this thing down. So 1,000 Arrows is doing nothing now, so he can just stay in safely because that's doing nothing. But Dragon Tail's out into the Tangrowth. Protect for the Sludge Wave. The burn damage is slowly chipping it down. Because then Toxapex predicting the Sludge Wave. There we go. So yeah, Taka's been playing this game really well, predicting everything that City Shamans want to do. Out comes the Tapu Lele, as Toxapex goes to recover. Goes probably out into Jirachi right now. Yes, as he goes for the Psychic. So, switch that again. So, I don't know if Tapu Lele was scarfed or thinking that, because I think, no, it doesn't outspeed because Tapu Lele's base 90 something. So Jirachi would have outsped, just click Ironhead. So predicting that he would switch out, Jirachi just goes for the Wish as the Miltank goes for Double Team. And that's the move of PIDA, Double Team. So out comes a Toxapex as this Miltank goes for Double Team Curses. So this can be a problem. But then Return does literally nothing to Toxapex, and Toxapex just goes for Haze. So Haze is the move because Curse is here, and if you guys watch UCC, there's a team in there which has bat and pass shenanigans, because in UCC bat and pass is fine minus the evasion, and that team just got shut down every time it brought button pass because of Haze and clear smog and whatnot. So I don't see why that can't be a problem in PIDA. So reveals the Shadow Ball, predicting him to go out into the Jirachi, but Leech Seed is there. So we now know that Miltank is either scrappy or thick fat, because obviously Leech Seed didn't get absorbed by Sap Sipper. So Double Team goes up again. So this game's a very long one because we're at turn 44 and nothing's died yet. Nothing's goddamn died yet. Jolteon comes out. Haze gets recovery, gets the burn damage, so recovery does nothing. Out comes a Tangrowth as he goes for the Thunderbolt, which does solid 35% resisted hit. Vampires out into his Pidgeot. Goes for the Leech Seed. Gets some recovery back up on Tangrowth. Out comes Tapu Koko as Pidgeot goes for U-turn. Yes, it does, predictably. Out into Tapu Lele, so we've got the Tapu back. Out comes Jirachi. Here comes the Shadow Ball. Gets the crit. And on turn 49, we get our first kill. We get our first freaking kill. And I do believe this is currently, on paper, as of right now, this is probably the longest game of PIDA so far. In Kanto, at least. So, breaking records here today, ladies and gentlemen. So, out comes Tapu Koko. And goes straight out to Hawlucha to get the defensive berry off as he puts out into his Zygarde, which he sacks off because obviously the burn damage. Down goes the Zygarde. Out comes Tapu Lele to reset the terrain. Acrobatics does nothing to this Hawlucha, but Psychic just blows it back. So obviously some bulk behind it. Out comes Tapu Koko. Out comes Jolteon, predicting a electric type move, but he goes for the Grass Knot. Predicting... I don't know. I don't know why he went... Why would you Grass Knot? Don't you have Dazzling Gleam or something? What's Grass Knot for? I don't even know. I don't know. Nothing on his team shouts out Grass Knot. So I don't know why he went for Grass Knot. Maybe it's because he only has Electric and that's as moves. He's got Roost, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and probably... So Thunderbolt gets Electric Terrain boosted, so it goes for Protect. And Johto goes for Bat and Pass out into his Mega Pidgeot. Out comes a Toxapex as he goes for the Hurricane. And Toxapex just eats up any hit pretty much every day of the week. Out comes the Jolteon. There's the Scald. There's the Birds. That's the second mon this Toxapex has burnt this game. And Baneful Bunker. So he goes for the Bat and Pass out into the Tapu Lele, who then goes for Psychic, I do believe. Goes out into his Ninetales as he goes for the Psychic. Yes, which OHKOs the Ninetales because Tapu Lele and Psychic Terrain is broken, even though it's tier 4 in PIDA, because algorithms are great. Out comes Jolteon sacking it off as Tapu Koko goes for Roost. So down goes the Jolteon. Out comes the Miltank again. Thunderbolt does a lot of damage to Miltank because Electric Terrain boosted. Return, barely. Does about 40%. Thunderbolt. Down goes the Miltank. And now it's an uphill battle, I think, for the Sydney Shamans in this game, because even though you are still around, you're not risking it, because Tapu Koko obviously outspeeds it and can kill the Thunderbolt. So playing the switch games very well is Hacker. So down goes the Tangrowth. So he's playing around this Tapu Lele really well, because Tapu Koko is his win con versus that Tapu Lele. So Jolteon comes out, predicting a switch out mode probably, but Thunderbolt just kills the Tapu Lele, and now Toxapex can put in the work against the rest of the team, because, or Toxapex can, because obviously resists I don't think it resists the poison, the fairy, so he's predicting a Belly Drum there and goes for Haze, but Slurpuff can't touch Toxapex. I don't think he gets like an electric type move or ground type move or anything. And I think Play Rough is resisted, and so is Drain Punch, which is the most common used moves on a Belly Drum Slurpuff. So this thing just walls it for days. So Skull burns the Mega Pidgeot and puts in the work. So obviously this sub Slurpuff can put in the work because behind the sub goes for Play Rough. Resisted does nothing. Gets the attack drop though. Gets the confusion, goes for Haze. Still predicting that Belly Drum. Doesn't go for it. Goes for Play Rough. Misses the Play Rough as he goes for the Haze again. So he's still waiting for him to go for Belly Drum. So this game can just go on for... He's scared to click the Belly Drum because Haze is just omniscient. So Gare goes to recover. Still behind the sub is the Slurpuff. Goes for the Drain Punch, which does next to nothing against this. Haze again. Still thinking that Belly Drum is coming. Doesn't. Gets the slightly burn damage. Play Rough does nothing. So Toxapex just stalls out. Wins the game. You'd stall out because obviously Slurpuff can't touch it. And if it just goes for Belly Drum, it can just haze it to death. Baneful Bunker, there we go. Gets poisoned. That's GG. Because Slurpuff cannot touch this thing. What in the slightest. So Drain, yeah, obviously. Carry on, keep on going. Not going to do anything. Not in the slightest. Because Haze can't set up Belly Drum because of Haze. Play Rough and Drain Punch are resisted. Obviously got sub. Goes for the Belly Drum anyway. Gets that Citrus Berry off. There's the Haze. Goodbye. Belly Drum. And Toxapex just stalls out and gets another kill. So that is a win. I think this is the first win for the Calgary Recreate. I do believe. The first win of the season. If I do so remember. And I think the City Shamans are 2-2. I think. I think they're near the top of the table, mid-table. And I think the Calgary Recreates are now off the... I think they were bottom. Were they bottom? I think they were bottom. But now they're not, because they're in the oranges now, I do believe, because they picked up their first W of the season. Now, major talking points in that game was obviously Jirachi for the Calgary Recreates was Wish Shuckerberry. And the crucial play with that was the Icy Wind miss, because possibly he could have got a better differential if that Icy Wind would have landed, because Jirachi wouldn't have died to the Zygarde. HPI's Roost Tapu Koko, because HPI's obviously on the Zygarde was super effective. Didn't OHKO it though, because it must have been a bulky Zygarde, because it was mixed obviously with Sludge Wave and Dragon Tail and whatnot. Tangrowth was pretty much just all I got. The fact that it had Leech Seed. Toxapex was definitely the MVP for the Calgary Recreates that game, with Baneful Bunkering, getting 3 Skull Burns and stalling out the end game, and having Haze to shut down the belly drumming Slurpuff. Obviously Hawlucha was Seed Unburden boosted, didn't do a lot because Acrobatics didn't OHKO the Tapu Lele and Psychic just blew it back. And early game Auroral did put in the work for the Calgary Creates. Obviously Slurpuff, like I said, got shot down by the Toxapex very easily. Jolteon was Agility Baton Pass sub, potentially trying to get the likes of a Slurpuff or a Zygarde to sweep late game, possibly Tapu Lele. So if that tactic paid off, may have been different, because if he got this +2 into Tapu Lele, he could have won if it wasn't choiced. I think it was choiced because he kept switching out from Jirachi, because he could have just clicked Shadow Ball and just killed it. Obviously Tapu Lele got 4 kills, so Tapu Lele is rocketing up into going into Division Tier 3 next season. Mega Pidgeot got burned with a Heat Wave. Zygarde was mixed, got burned, didn't do a lot. And then Miltank obviously with Double Team Curse. Could have come and put in some work, but didn't in the end. So that is GG for game number 3. As we move on to game number 4, where we are rocking the New England Blizzards versus the Ottawa Garchomps. And New England Blizzards are rocking Victini, Crocodile, Serena, Volcanion, Chansey, and Zoroark. And the Ottawa Garchomps are rocking Hydreigon, Heliolisk, Barbaracle, Florges, Arcanine, and Megalopony. Now, New England Blizzards have brought Victini again because it's Z-Celebrate again, because that's the tactic for the Victini. Brings it every week. Brought Z-Celebrate every week. Chansey can be bulky. Crocodile can potentially sweep. You can have Zoroark shenanigans with Zoroark, because Zoroark's just, illusion shenanigans can come in work in League. Volcanion, if the if Barbarical and Heliolisk are gone, Volcanion can potentially do some work, and obviously Serena as well, as long as the Arcanine's gone, because it gets like High Jump Kick and Play Rough. It gets Play Rough for the Hydreigon, it gets High Jump Kick for the Lopunny, it gets Trop Kick for the likes of the Barbarical, obviously High Jump Kick as well for the Heliolisk. So that can put in work. Mega Lopunny is always a threat, especially with Chansey, Zoroark, and Crocodile all being weak to fighting on his team. Arcanine can, if it's a bulky set, can wall most of his team minus the Crook and the Volcanion. Florges, Wish Support, obviously. Barbarical, Shell Smash can put in the work against his team, minus the Serena. Heliolisk, Electric, mainly just the Volcanion and Hydreigon, is my second favourite dragon, so hopefully it puts in the work. So, let's jump into this game and see how this one goes. As he leads with Red 2 versus Hydreigon. Goes for the superpower, the Hydreigon lives on 7%. Gets a defense and attack drop as he goes for the U-turn. Does a solid just over half to this thing. Out comes the Florges, which is probably going to go for Wish, which it does. Gets a Chansey, out into the Mega Lopunny as it goes. Chansey goes for Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks can put in the work against his team. Goes for return. Chansey lives on 7%. 7% is the magic number in this game. As Pink poisons the Mega Lopunny as he goes out into his Volcanion, which does tank the return very well. So it must be a very bulky Volcanion set. Out comes Hydreigon, sacking off versus the Volcanion. Turn goes for the Steam Eruption because nothing, except he's got, unless he had Dry Skin on his Heliolisk, would have ate that up. Also, Florges could have eaten that up because it's got ridiculously high special defense. So, unless he didn't have Hazard, I don't think he has Hazard removal unless he's got Default on his Florges. So, Hydreigon was gassing up with the game, saying I wish I did something, and it didn't. So, out comes Heliolisk versus this thing as he goes out into his Chansey, goes Hyper Voice, down goes Chansey. So there goes the New England Blizzard's wall, has gone like turn 7, which can be an issue because obviously has very special bulk with a Arcanine and Heliolisk Florges and Heliolisk is only special walls, and the Crocodile just shuts down Heliolisk every day of the week unless it's got Surf or Grass or not, and Florges is mainly going to be a defensive option, so it won't have ridiculously high special defense. So, special attack, sorry. So, Chansey wasn't that crucial in this game once Hydreigon was gone, so that was probably a good play by New England Blizzard there. So, Iron Tail on his Crocodile does 84% to this Florges as he goes for the Wish. Out comes Victini. As he goes for Protect, gets the Wish recovery off as he goes for Protect. Victini obviously goes for Z Celebrate, because that's the obvious play, because Victini on this team only goes for Z Celebrate. It goes for the Psyshock, which does 64% Wish. And this Victini can potentially stall. I mean, the Florges could have stalled the Victini, but Psyshock there does nothing to the Barbarical. Psyshock does 49%. Stone Edge does 60%. Another Psyshock just kills the Barbarical. So Victini gets a kill. Out comes the Arcanine with the Intimidate drop off. Goes for the Psyshock, which does 23%. Arcanine Toxics it when I don't know why you Toxiced it. Because doesn't it get Earthquake? Doesn't Arcanine get Earthquake? Wouldn't Earthquake have killed? If Stone Edge from Barbarical did thingy, wouldn't have Earthquake killed? I don't know. Maybe it was a bit. I don't know. But he goes for Extreme Speed Toxic. Extreme Speed does nothing. Down comes the Arcanine, so Victini picks up 2 kills this game. Goes down to 8% on his Victini. Out comes the Florges as he saves his Victini for don't know why, but Florges goes for Wish. Wish Protect to heal off that damage as Volcanion goes for Nasty Plot. And now I'm thinking, didn't know Volcanion got Nasty Plot, so that's quite scary. Must have been an Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon thing. Goes for the Sludge Bomb, and then I go, hang on a minute. I didn't know, I thought Volcanion only got Sludge Wave. So I must have been mistaken. Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, both to do the same, potentially same thing. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. Volcanion now is going to sweep the game because it can just overheat now. Hyper Voice, Soaker Sash. And then I went, oh my god, it's a Zoroark. Because obviously I wrote the notes beforehand. It doesn't matter. But I went in the Discord and went, oh my god, someone's got the maths wrong because Volcanion got killed Sludge Bomb. And then I went, the people going, who's messed up this time? And then I went back to the video, to the replay, press play, and I went, oh, it's a Zoroark. Never mind, my bad. So then Zoroark just, does Zoroark things. It fooled me, but I'm easy to fool, so if it felt me, it must have fooled everyone else. So it goes for Dark Pulse, kills the killer, crit, stab, Dark Pulse, crit, did not matter in the slightest. Because it was +2 and it's the healer, it's not the bulkiest boy in the world. Lopunny obviously outspeeds, goes to return, gets a revenge kill on the Zoroark. Out comes the Volcanion, the true Volcanion. Doesn't outspeed, gets killed by high jump kick. Out comes Serena, lives the Ice Punch, goes for Play Rough, and down goes the Mega Lopunny. So the New England Blizzards win that game 3-0. And yeah, that was a GG to the New England Blizzards there. Our Garchomps, I still believe, are still yet to pick up a W this season. So they need to pick their game up if they don't want to be relegated to Johto next season, because bottom 5 are in risk of getting relegated, and if you're about week 6, week 7, and still near like in the bottom, there's more likely a chance you're going to get be either relegated automatically or in those deadly reverse playoff spots. Now, talking points where Victini Z celebrate, because it's always Victini Z celebrate. Put in the work. I think it's still the MVP in Tier 1. Overall, I do believe. If I'm wrong, you can shout at me in the comments. But, or the people watching PIDA, because that's a thing I could probably talk about. But they get up. There'll be spoilers for weeks to come, because I can't undo them like I did. That, spoilers. Crocodile, obviously Iron Tail was good play for the Florges. Most like switching, particularly the Dark type moves. I did have Nasty Plot written down to things Volcanion, but it was obviously Zoroark. So Nasty Plot, I put fooled me in my notes, because it did. It really did. And then obviously Chansey was Rock's Toxic. Rocks did put in the work, killing off the Hydreigon, and potentially the Sash on the Barbaracle. Obviously sacked the Hydreigon for the Garchomps, because obviously he didn't have a hazard removal. I dropped a pen on the floor. So on his Florges, because if there's anything on his team I think gets defog, so that's obviously why he did that. Florges was Wish support. Did help out the Garchomps quite a bit, because I've got it in PIDA as well. So hopefully, in Johto anyway. So Florges can be a very good use for versatility mon. Obviously Arcanine was Toxic E-Speed. Could have potentially done more if it wasn't against the +1 Victini. And obviously Megalopony got the Revenge Sweep. Not enough though, because this Serena lived the Ice Punch. I don't know if Return would have done more, because it was Stab and it had higher base power than Ice Punch. So maybe he did the calcs and he was just playing for the freeze, because they both didn't kill, but you never know. So yeah, that's that game over and done with. So now we're halfway through this video, and we're almost at 40 minutes. So much for this video being shorter than the others. It was because of that stupid third game, which lasted about 7 years. So we move on to the game that made this video go up late. We have the Sinnoh Starlets versus the Pure Pidgeots. This was an extended game because of personal reasons, so not much to involve into that. So we've got Sinnoh Starlets and the Pure Pidgeots. This is why I wanted to do this video after this game, because as of right now, both these coaches are undefeated. So the winner of this game will remain undefeated, and the loser, their unbeaten streak is over. So after this game, we're going to have 2 unbeaten coaches, because obviously Zombie is still unbeaten, and we've already seen his game in week number 2 versus the Hungry Big Boys. So the winner of this game will remain unbeaten. And the Sinnoh Starlets have brought Stakataka, Volcarona, Hooper Unbound, Mega Mawile, Sylveon, and Mimikyu. Triple Fairy. Interesting. And the Pure Pidgeots have brought Darmanitan, Greninja, Blissey, Buzzwole, Silvally, and Megalatios. Is it Megalatios? It is Megalatios. So, obviously, triple fairy with a Buzzwole, a Greninja, and a Latios. Good bring. Don't know what type of Silvally is. If Silvally Steel can put in the work against this team, minus the Volcarona. Hooper Unbound can put in the work as well, minus, because obviously quad weak to Bug, so Buzzwole can be a problem. So Hooper Unbound can potentially sweep if that Buzzwole's not around. Stack Attacker had it in ABC. Can put in the work on the Trick Room, can put in the work. Obviously Volcarona and Quiver Dance. Mega Marwile. If Stack Attacker's got Trick Room, Mega Marwile is going to be a problem in Trick Room. And then obviously Mimikyu with the Disguise and Sylveon. We know Sylveon, Evolution shenanigans, can bat and pass for days and do whatever. So, yeah, let's crack on into game number 5. So, Free Spoopy 5U, Mimikyu is here versus the Darmanitan. U-turn, turn 1, Disguise broken. Mimikyu is like, you know, just not average Joe now, man. Turn 1 goes for Trick Room and goes straight into his Mega Marwile. And that is quite scary because the Mega Marwile with huge power on the Trick Room is scary because it's obviously got 50 base speed and it's hit like a truck. But on the Trick Room, it's going to outspeed most things and hit like a truck, which is absolutely scary. But this is a good play by Sean here because he switches it out, getting Intimidate drop, predicting the Earthquake, and it lives because of the Intimidate drop. So that saves it. Out comes the Silvally. So it goes for Play Rough. Silvally Rock. Now, I'm guessing it's Silvally Rock for the Volcarona? I don't know. What resists Rock? Fire? I can't remember what Rock resists. I don't know why it's HP of hidden away Rock. I would have put money on it to be Steel type. So, lives to Play Rough, goes for the Power Punch because it's a Rock type, outspeeds it, gets the 3+1. And now Sean's got a +1 Mega Marwile under Trick Room. Death is coming, Death is coming. Out comes the Blissey. Goes for Substitute versus the Blissey. As this Blissey goes for Stealth Rocks. Now this is scary. Scary as could be. Behind the sub, so it can live any hit. And it's +1, and it can just kill this Blissey with a Play Rough. Goodbye. As it goes for Shadow Ball, which doesn't break the sub. Out comes the Buzzwole again. Earthquake breaks the sub this time. Goes for Play Rough. Goodbye, Buzzwole. And now, out comes Greninja. As Sean sacks off his Mega Marwile because it's done the most. Doesn't want to risk switching out being again because it's on low HP, so might as well sack it off. So Greninja picks up a kill with the Skull, getting a revenge kill on the Mega Marwile. Out comes the Sylveon. As Greninja goes for Spike, so double hazards on Sean's side, Sinistar side of the field. Goes for Hyper Voice, lives the Hyper Voice, goes for the Scald, does nothing to Sylveon because Sylveon's a specially defensive monster, gets the bird, revenge kills the Hyper Voice, and out comes the Darmanitan. Resisted the Fairy, switches out to Mimikyu, as the Mimikyu takes damage from hazards. Flare Blitz, Nuke, goodbye Mega Marwile. Out comes the Stack Attacker with an Air Balloon, so it can't be Earthquake. Flare Blitz does exactly 50% to this Stack Attacker. As the Stack Attacker goes for Trick Room, it can now outspeed the Darmanitan. Goes for Jarble. Lives on 3%. I don't know if he should have went for Jarble. If he had Stone Edge, would have killed. If he had Earthquake, he would have killed. Don't know why he went for Jarble. Maybe it was a roll to kill, and he only had Stone Edge, and wouldn't want to miss the misc. So, good play by Sean there. So it goes for Flare Blitz, nukes itself versus the Stack Attacker. So now the JJ's only got his Mega Latios left versus a Hooper Unbound. And Hooper Unbound goes for the Z Black Hole Eclipse and just blows back this Mega Latios. And that was a quick game. Turn 14 turn game. 3-0 win for the Sinnoh Starlets. So the Sinnoh Starlets and the Black Sea Kilns are the only teams to pick one of these every single week. So the race for the unbeaten team is on, and potentially can keep on going to week number 14, because that's when the Black Sea Kilns play the Sinnoh Starlets. So if by week number 14 they're still both unbeaten, that's going to be a hype game. That's going to be absolutely hype if they're still unbeaten by that stage. But It's PIDA, anything can happen. All the coaches in this league are pretty much on the same level. So maybe they won't be unbeaten by then, but you never know. So obviously, talking points in that game were Stack Attacker, Trick Room, Air Balloon, Jarble, nearly killing the dumb Mantan. If he had Earthquake or Stone Edge, probably would have been the better play, because if he had Earthquake and he went out into his Mega Layout, he would have underspeeded it and clicked Stone Edge or Jarble, and it would have done damage to it. Potentially. Probably not, actually, because obviously Jarble... Is Jarble resisted? I don't think Jarble is resisted. So Jarble might have killed the Mega Latios. But you don't know. You never know. Obviously, Hooper Unbound picked up the last kill with Z Dark. Worst Ben, can confirm. Mega Marwile was fantastic by Sean. Protected one by Sinistar, because Intimidate, so it could live the Earthquake from the Buzzwole. And then goes for Trick Room. So it's outspeeds next turn. He goes out into his Silvally, goes for Play Rough, gets a Power Punch, gets behind the sub. So it's a Trick Room, Mega Marwile at +1 behind the sub. Things are dying. It did. It picked up 3 kills, and obviously put in the work. Obviously Mimikyu with Trick Room as well. Mimikyu helped the Mega Marwile pick up those 3 kills with the Trick Room. And on the pure Pidgeot side of this field, we have obviously the Demantan Flareblitz Nuke. Put in the absolute work. Killed the Stack Attacker. Killed the Mega Marwile. No, it didn't kill the Mega Marwile. It killed the Mimikyu. So, picked up some good kills there. Demantan, obviously a freaking monster in League. Greninja was on the hazards and got the revenge kill on the Mega Marwile with the Scald, which Sean sacked off. Blissey with Rocks and Shadow Ball. I don't know why it was Shadow Ball. Maybe for the Mimikyu, because potentially it only had Seismic Toss and whatnot, so it couldn't touch the Mimikyu, which it had Shadow Ball, potentially. And then the Baswell was sacked off to kill the substitute versus the Mimikyu, because he sent it out to break the sub, and then obviously Buzzwole died to the Play Rough, and then that was that. And yeah, so Sinistars are now rocking 4-0, and hype game is over. And we now move on to game number 6, where we have the Victoria Victinis versus the Power Squad. And this week, the Power Squad is coached by the Messiah, Nico. Now, the Victoria Victinis are rocking Hippowdon, Excadrill, Pelipper, Kingdra, Hitmonlee, and Mega Charizard Y. Whereas the Power Squad are rocking Passimian, Vivian, Breloom, Scolipede, Mew, and Manaphy. Now, Power Squad, usual tactics are set up with Scolipede, set up with Mew, bam, pass away, sweep, like they did. Was it last week they got a 6-0? Was that last week, or was that next week? That was last week. Snorlax 6-0 was... No, it wasn't. That's next week. Spoilers, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's fine. No, it's not. Yeah, it was, because Snorlax was week 3. Because they haven't played week 5 yet. Hey up. So yeah, anyway, I'm just blabbering on. Obviously, Devil's team is weather. He's got fire, he's got sun, water, and sand. All he's missing is ice. I don't think he's got ice on his team, because I think all the ice types were down low minus the Alolan Ninetales. So you just don't know. So yeah, obviously Passimian campaign works. Double sleep with Vivian and Breloom can be an issue for this team. So let's just jump in and see how this match goes about, shall we? Leads with the Scolipede versus the Hippowdon. As Scolipede goes for its usual protect shenanigans. Hippowdon goes for the Stealth Rocks, gets the speed boost up. Goes for the substitute as the Hippowdon goes for Whirlwind. That is how you stop setup. Easily done. That's how you stop setup, and it can be shut down in this league. So substitute switches straight back out into Passimian. So everything's taking rock damage. Passimian goes for Seed Bomb, which does nothing to Hippowdon because it's a very bulky boy. Earthquake does 41%. So next Earthquake will kill this thing. So Nico switches out into his Mew, and he goes for the Earthquake, which does 32%. So it must be a more of a bulkier Mew. Goes for Psychic. Whirlwind straight back into Vivian, which takes it down to 50%. Vivian's got leftovers. Goes to Sleep Powder because it outspeeds, and goes to set up, I do believe, if I remember correctly. Yep, goes for the Quiver Dance versus the sleeping Hippowdon. Devil stays in with his Hippowdon, gets the recovery damage off, goes for the Giga Drain, lives on 1%. Lives on 1%. My god. Hippowdon's a monster. Out comes the Charizard, predicting the Giga Drain. And then Vivian goes for Sleep Powder again, because Sleep Clause is not a thing in PIDA, as is no rules, besides the Mega Evolution Turn 1 rule. Quiver Dance up again on his Vivian versus the Mega Charizard Y. Hurricane, lands a Hurricane in the sun, gets a crit. Man, this Vivian's on point. Hurricane's reduced accuracy in sun, gets the crit, kills the Mega Charizard Y. Done. Sorted. Out comes the Hitmonlee, goes for the Unburdened Fake Out against the Vivian, which has solid 39%. And slacking Doc as the Vivian switches out. And I don't know why. Because maybe because it outspeeds, but because the Unburdened Hitmonlee might outspeed a +2. Was it +2? Or was it +3? It was +2. I think Hitmonlee outspeeds it, but it was at full health. It potentially could have lived a hit. No, it wasn't at full health, it was at 61%. So I don't know why he switched out. From being honest, goes out into goes to the Rock Slide, just kills the Scolipede, where he could have easily got some speed boost on that thing with Protect and whatnot, and put in some work. But anyway, Hitmonlee goes to get 2 kills, gives a knockoff on the Mew. Out comes the Breloom, goes for Spore, which doesn't, because he obviously outspeeds, he goes for Close Combat. Down goes that thing, out comes Manaphy. Now, Close Combat, Manaphy is on 18%, as Manaphy goes for Z Supersonic Sky Strike. I have no idea what move Manaphy gets for Supersonic Sky Strike, but obviously did put in the work, because obviously it did put in the work, because it OHKO'd a -2 Hitmonlee, so it must have been a very powerful move. Overkill, should I say so myself. Out comes the Hippowdon, out comes the Persimmon. Turn 1 wake up by the Hippowdon, goes for Whirlwind. Out comes the Vivian, who just goes out, takes 50% from rocks, goes for Sleep Powder, puts its Hippo back to sleep. As Vivian slowly recovers health, it doesn't because of Sandstorm's up, goes for the Quiver, still asleep. Should have goes for the. Does he get greedy here? He does get greedy here. Gets greedy, wakes up, goes for Whirlwind. If you just click Giga Drain there, could have been Gucci. This thing would have been dead, and would have outsped all of his team by the Extra Drill. That's fantastic. Out comes Persimmon, goes for Seed Bomb, gets the Vengeful on the Hippo. So then out comes Pelipper, who just cleans up the rest of the game. Could live the Rock Slide from the Persimmon, gets the Flinch, which is unfortunate. If he got the Flinch again, that would have been Kingdra would have just swept. So lands the Hurricane in the thing, and Hippowdon gets a kill for the Stealth Rocks. And that's a 3-0 win for the Power Squad. Not the Power Squad, the Victoria Victinis. The Power Squad lose 3-0. So Victinis are now, I think, 2-2 right now. So are up there. I think the Power Squad are at the same differential win-loss streak. So both around the mid-table mark. Obviously Hippowdon, Rocks, Whirlwind, put in the work against the Power Squad. That's what you need to do against the Power Squad if you're watching. Bring Whirlwind, Clear Smog, Roar, all that stuff. Stop the setup and you win. That's how you win. And lived on 1 from a +1 Giga Drain from a Vivian. Mad. Hippowdon's a bulky boy. And then obviously Pelipper swept up late game. Hitmonlee did put in the work. Getting the fake out on burn and boost. Outsped most of his team. Or all his team pretty much. And put in the work. And the crit Hurricane on Mega Charizard Y was very, very, very lucky. Because obviously very high chance. Is it a high chance to crit? I can't remember. But it crit. It landed in the sun. So very, very lucky from that part. Persimmon got the Seed Bomb kill on the Hippowdon, revenge kill. Vivian was the MVP for the Power Squad, putting 2-1 to sleep, getting greedy with the Quiver Dancers against the Hippowdon. If it Giga Drained it, the Hippowdon the game may have not been a 3-0, it might have been a 2-0, possibly, because King Drill would have just come out and swept, or Extra Drill, so didn't matter in the long run, but could have knocked down that differential a little bit. And obviously Manaphy was the Supersonic Sky Strike. Yeah. And died to Sandstorm. Yeah, Supersonic Sky Strike. Yeah. So if you're watching this and playing Power Squad, don't sleep on Z Supersonic Sky Strike. Manaphy. Now we'll move on to game number 7, where we have the Greenland Guzzlords versus the Wellington Ho-Oh, and the Greenland Guzzlords are rocking Nidoqueen, Mega Camerupt. I was going to say Diancie then. It is Diancie. No, it's not. It's Magearna. Why did I say Diancie? I don't know. Dhelmise, Espeon, and Terrakion, whereas the Wellington Ho-Oh are rocking Megazord X, Tyranitar, Celesteela, Garbodor, Whimsicott, Rotom, Wash. Now, obviously, Celesteela is a bulky boy, but he does have a Mega Camera. You can just burn it. He's got Zard X, which can... Terrakion can put its name on it, so it's a Nidoqueen and Mega Camerupt. Garbodor's there, which is weak to Camerupt and Nidoqueen. Rotom, just Dhelmise, because only weak to Grass, and Dhelmise needs Grass up in the team. Tyranitar, there's a Nidoqueen and a Magearna and a Terrakion, and Whimsicott as Nidoqueen. I think, and then obviously on the other side of the screen, there's Nidoqueen, which is weak to water and grass. No, it's not grass, just water, just Rotom. Camerupt is weak to Rotom as well. Rotom's got quite a good matchup. If Rotom killed the Dhelmise, can potentially put in the work. So let's jump into game number 7, see how this one goes. Out comes Magearna versus the Rotom Wash. The Trick Room Volt Switch is out. As Magearna goes for Trick Room, so we have 2 Trick Room teams this week. We had the Sinnoh that's a few games ago, and now we have the Greenland Guzzlord. So he goes for Trick Room, goes for the Volt Switch, activates the Celesteela's Whacan Berry. Don't know why it was Whacan Berry, from being totally honest. Leech Seed predicted, goes into Dhelmise, who's immune to it. Out comes Magearna as he goes out into his Garbodor. As Magearna just Volt Switches out again, out into his Mega Camerupt as he goes for Spikes. So under Trick Room, Mega Camerupt is a problem as he goes out into Charizard. As the Mega Camerupt goes for Substitute. Zard X goes for Dragon Claw, breaks the sub, and Mega Camerupt goes for the Earth Power, which OHKOs the Megazord X with a crit. I don't think that crit mattered. So out comes the Tyranitar, who goes for the Z Tectonic Rage. Goodbye, Mega Camel. So both Megas are down by turn 7. Fantastic. Out comes Magearna. Out comes the Celesteela. Goes for Trick Room again, because obviously this team's very Trick Room orientated with Magearna and Dhelmise. Out comes Lady Gaga. The Nidoqueen goes for Heavy Slam, which does nothing to this Nidoqueen because it's neutral. And out comes the Dhelmise, picking the Leech Seed. Celesteela goes to Protect. And there's a Protect again. Sorting out the Trick Room turns. As the Z Never Ending Nightmare does nothing to the Celesteela. 17% to be precise. And out comes the Tyranitar as he goes for the Rapid Spin. Does nothing. Nothing at all. Goes for the Spikes though. As the Tyranitar goes for Dragon Dance. Goes for the Power Whip, knocking out the Tyranitar. Good risky play there because he could have easily went for Crunch there, but Rotom comes out and Volt Switch out against the Dhelmise. Out into the Garbodor. Power Whip does nothing to Garbodor. And it's Winky Switch out into his Magearna at this point. The Greenland Guzzlords, yes it does. Out comes Magearna. There's a Clear Smog. I don't know why he Clear Smogged. Against maybe it's only Poison type move against the Dhelmise. Goes for Drain Punch, which does nothing. Trick Room wins back up again. And goes for the Ice Beam, which is the only thing I think this Dhelmise can do to this Garbodor. So stays in and just keeps spamming Ice Beam until the Trick Room ends or this Garbodor dies, whichever one comes first. Ice Beam puts it down to 12%. Goes for Drain Punch. And then switch that into a Rotom Wash at this stage, I think Wellington Ho-Oh do. Which they do, because it resists the Ice Beam. Does nothing. Critical hit, 24%. Trick Room ends. And goes out into his Dhelmise. Hydro Pump. Crit. Does a 5%. Hydro Pump lands. Okay, that's 2 Hydro Pumps in a row. Espeon's here. 3 Hydro Pumps in a row. Goes for the Carmine. 4 Hydro Pumps in a row, and that's a roll to kill at +1. Out comes Beginner. 5 in a row. Hydro Pumps, Trick Room. Here's the Volt Switch. Out into his Nidoqueen. 6 in a row. Hydro Pump, Rotom Wash, it just doesn't miss. Out comes Beginner. There's the Ice Beam. Hydro Pump, 7 in a row. Ice Beam. And he misses his last Hydro Pump. So he lands 7 Hydro Pumps in a row. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Out comes the Celesteela against the Ice Beam. Stalling out the Trick Room turns very well to her, very well. Gets the Beast Boost, gets the Special Defense Boost. Out comes the Terrakion. As it goes to Protect, goes for the Stone Edge. Goes for the Stone Edge, kills the Celesteela. Out comes Whimsicott, which can just, wall this thing. Gets a crit with the Stone Edge, which is... Goes for the Giga Drain. Very crucial. Obviously, it's choice locked into Stone Edge. It might have been Iron Head or something. So it's locked into Stone Edge. Giga Drain gets a tailwind up, so it definitely outspeeds the Scarf Terrakion. Goes for the Stone Edge, and the Sticky Sheep can kill late game. So that's GG to the Wellington Ho-Oh. Now, I think Wellington Ho-Oh are now 3-1, so they're around. They're either in the orange playoffs, no, the green playoffs. They're either riding around the yellow zone or the green playoffs, or they're in the green playoffs. And Dr. Piplup, I think, is yet to pick up a W. So Tim and the Calgary Crates, I think, are the only teams who have yet to win a game. No, Calgary Crates won a game. The Ottawa Garchomps. Them and the Ottawa Garchomps are yet to pick up a W. But main talking points in that game was obviously Tectonic D-Dance Tyranitar. Blew back that Mega Camerupt. Was it Mega Camerupt? Yeah, it was Mega Camerupt. The Whack-A Belly on Celesteela. I don't know why Whack-A Berry was there, because I don't know if Piplup has any strong electric types on his team. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting play to pick that. Obviously, Garbodor was mainly for spikes, which got Rapid Spinned away by the Delmise. Whimsicott was a good play. Whimsicott, Tailwind, Giga Drain to outspeed the Scarf Terrakion, and Giga Drain could just if it outsped and just wall it with Giga Drain. A Rotom Wash, crit Hydro Pumps, landed 7 in a row. Definitely MVP for the Wellington Ho-Ohs in that game. Obviously, also I did mention it before. Obviously, again, good play by Wellington Ho-Oh there, counteracting that Trick Room really well by switching out, protecting, stalling out as much as he could, so he could send out his fast monsters like the Tyranitar and the Rotom Wash and whatnot, and deal with the Trick Room shenanigans on the other side of the screen. Because Mega Camerup's sub-Earth power could have put in clutch if he didn't play around with that Trick Room as well as he did. Delmise was Z, Ghostium Z for Dr. Piplup, so that was good as well. So yeah, that was our penultimate game. As we move on to our last game, where we have the Boston Cyndaquils, coached by Dylan, versus the Dallas Cabalions, coached by Torment. Now, the Boston Cyndaquils are rocking Landorus Firion, Incineroar, Komao, Megalade, Reuniclus, and Dragalge. Whereas the Dallas Cabalions are rocking Garchomp, Staraptor, Blacephalon, Porygon 2, Mega Aggron, and Venomoth. So, judging by matchups, there are 2 dragons on the Boston Cyndaquil side of the screen, and there's a Garchomp and a Mega Aggron on the other side of the field. So Mega Aggron can put in the work, except there's 2 fighting types on the side of the screen. And Mega Aggron's a very bulky boy, so it could probably live a stab fighting type moves from both of these monsters. So, potentially to wall them. Potentially maybe a focus miss from a Reuniclus. And I think Dragalge gets it as well. Could put in work against the Mega Aggron. Obviously, Staraptor, Intimidate, Reckless, can put in the work. Blacephalon's my boy. Can put in the work. Choice Scarf, can wreck live, so you need to be careful about that. Garchomp, obviously, Porygon Z can be Omni boosting in this league. Venomoth is obviously Sleep Powder, Quiver Dance, like we said with the Vivillon in the game before, can do that again. Boston Cyndaquils have got double Intimidate with Incineroar and Landorus. regenerating with a Uniclus, adaptability to Gouge put in the work a few weeks ago. Was it last week it was MVP? Last week it was. Komodo can obviously Omni Boost as well, and Megalade can hit like a truck. So let's jump into this last game and see how it goes down. So Lethal Landorus versus the Staraptor. Gets the Intimidate drop off, and the Staraptor is not Intimidate, so it's obviously Reckless. So U turns out into his Venomoth versus this thing. I don't know why. Gets the rocks up with Staraptor. Out comes Incineroar as he goes for Sleep Powder. Proves to do what bugs do. Puts things to sleep and just spams Quiver Dance. Goes for the Bug Buzz, which does nothing to this Incineroar. So it must be... I'm predicting Assault Vest Incineroar. Because there goes the Fire Punch. It's sashed. So lives on the sash. Goes for Sleep Powder again. Incineroar's back to sleep. As the Venomoth goes for Bug Buzz again. Does 49%. First turn Wake Up. First turn Wake Up by that Incineroar. Could have been a different story if that wasn't first turn Wake Up. Because that Venomoth could have put in the work. Out comes the Landorus. But this thing goes for Dragon Claw. Does 33%. Fantastic. Goes out into his Incineroar. It's now -2. Go with Dragon Claw. Lives on 3%. Must be a very bulky boy. Goes down to Landorus again. -3. Go Dragon Claw. Does 20%. Nice. Go down to Incineroar. -4. Goes for Draco Meteor. Dead. Who saw that coming? Who saw that coming? -4. -2. Dragon Claw. Doing nothing. So this Garchomp just can do nothing. So this Como, because it's got negative defense across the board, stats across the board. Dragon Claw does nothing. Como gets up to +2. And proceeds to sweep. Ice Punch. Kills the Garchomp. This thing. Mega Aggron. Drain Punch. Whoop. +2 does 50%. Mad. This is what Mega Aggron does. It just eats hits for days. Drain Punch. Bop. Heal it back up. 69%. Boosh. Sorted. Leftovers. Champion. Staraptor is here. Ice Punch. Goodbye, Staraptor. Como gets another kill. Out comes Percephalon. Earthquake. Goodbye, Percephalon. There we go. Out comes What the Duck. Drain Punch. Goodbye, Paragon Z. And that is, I think, 2 5-0s in a row for the Boston Cyndaquils, because last week Dragouge got a 5-0 sweep. This week Komao got a 5-0 sweep. Yeah, Boston Cyndaquils are flying. I think they're in the playoffs as well, or potentially they are. I think they're 2-2 with 2 back-to-back 5-0s, but we can check that right now. But before that, good play by Boston Cyndaquils there to get the Garchomp at as much negative stats as possible. Didn't see the Draco Meteor coming. I wouldn't have gone for Draco Meteor. I would have just spammed Dragon Claw or gone out into something else. Because obviously with all those negative stats, that gave the Boston Cyndaquils a chance to set up with the Komodo to +2 and just sweep the team. So that's a good win by the Boston Cyndaquils there. Now, if we look at the table, the Sinnoh Starlets are rocking first place with undefeated, only having 9 knockouts, whereas the Black Sea Curiums are also beaten but have 11 knockouts, so very close at the top of the table. Wellington Ho-Oh and the Pura Pidgeot are filling up the second, third and fourth playoff spots with a differential of 9-6, 9-6. And the New England Blizzards are also on 9-6, but have had 1 more kill, 1 less death. So, yeah. So, it's very close to the top of the table. And obviously at the bottom, we have the Garchomp to Greenland Guzzlord yet to win a game. And then the rest of the playoff spots are rocking the Dallas Cavalians, the New Haven Nut, and the Hungry Big Boys, who are all picking up one win. And the Boston Typhlosions, who have replaced the Calgary V-Creates, coached by Hacker, and David has joined the fray and has made some trades, which I'll talk about in the start of next week's video. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, I tried to keep it short. It's still an hour and not 10 minutes. But if you've stayed to this long, you're the real MVP. You are the real MVP. If you guys have enjoyed, smash that like button. Comment down below how you want me to improve this series if you're still watching. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!